All right, everybody, welcome. So glad you guys are all here. Let's see, we got quite a few of you in chat already. It's been really busy. Hi, Shiva, you're the first one here today. So glad that you made it. We got Farm Girl, she's here. She's excited. Welcome to the Pastel Insider. So glad that you joined and that you made it to the live today. Let's see, we got Debbie here. We got Susan. So glad you made it, Susan. Louise. Debbie. Pam's back. Welcome back, Pam. So glad that you're back. Ari's here. Peg. Peg, I'm so glad you made it today. All of you. It's so wonderful that you're here. Loretta's here. Welcome, Loretta. Our last August lesson. Yep. Cameron's here. That's my hubby downstairs. We got Sandy here, Teresa, Terry, April, Cheryl, Margaret. Welcome, everyone. Margaret's from Virginia. I used to live in Virginia when I was young. When I was 9 years old, we moved to Washington State, and then I'm in Oregon now, but I was in Richmond, Virginia, and I used to go to Tennessee a lot. Oh, and Terry, she's from Texas. Welcome. Be sure to tap and do those thumbs up today. Yeah, it really helps you guys. Thank you. That's the one free thing you get to do is you can like this video. Do it right now. Go down. It helps my algorithm. I really appreciate it. But I'm really jazzed up today, you guys. I'm really pumped to be here. I have some exciting stuff that I want to talk about. And what I really want to do is a poll right off the bat, because I've already got 22 of you guys in here. So this live, I'm hoping, will speak to many of you here. And I'm going to write up this poll here is, I had it right here, just a second. I had it written. Let me get it. I was like, oh, here we go. I had all my polls written. Just a second, guys. I had it up. Okay. Resistance. Let's see. How often do you feel resistance about going into your creative space? So we're going to have almost every time, sometimes, and rarely. So I know there's quite a few of you guys out there that struggle with showing up and have resistance to get in your studio. And I'm excited to talk about that today. So we're going to start this poll to get you guys engaged about this question here. Let's see if it'll actually start. Must contain between 1 and 35 characters. Oh, I have a misspelling. Is it not going to let me do a poll today? Great. Well, it's not allowing me to do a poll. Okay. Oh, wait, there we go. I got it. Okay. So I'm a little frazzled here, but we're going to get it going here. I have all my notes and it's like, but it's basically, do you wait to be inspired to paint? Or, but what if, inspiration, comes after you begin? And that's what we're going to talk about today with this is I think there's a lot of you out there that might wait to be inspired to start creating, to start painting and all of that. And this is something I worked through personally. And I have a lot of great ideas for you guys today. I mean, some can call it, if you want to label it, to its extreme, is like creative block. And to its minor is just the resistance of like showing up and just starting because you don't feel like you can do it, or you've picked something hard, or anything like that can create resistance. And what I'm going to share with you today is just some techniques and tools that could maybe get you to have less of that along the way. Now I have hair everywhere. All right, so I'm gonna check in chat here, get caught up, and let's see here. Oh, Gia's here, welcome. I always want to say Gia. It's probably Gia. I think it's Gia. I'm gonna say Gia. I always forget. Amy's here, welcome. Farm Girl says it's all the time. Let's see, Loretta says yes, a struggler am I, mixed media, mixing art materials for test strips through doodles. Well, that's good to, at least be doing something in there. And Farm Girl, I'm excited that you're waiting for your UArt paper to arrive. That's really exciting. Oh, FOF, fear of failure. That's a good one, Debbie. The blank page. Yes, Thea's here. Welcome, Thea. Well, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to unpack that. Get all your luggage, your suitcase, what you've been carrying around with that, what your ideas are that, and we're gonna unpack that a little bit today. And I'm gonna give you some really tips and tricks that I use that can really help. Oh, good. Well, Paula, that's great. You've worked it out where you can't avoid it because it's in your family den. Or your fem den. I get it. You got to create a sanctuary. It took me a while to make my creative space a sanctuary. I mean, I didn't hang anything on the walls for years and didn't really do a lot to nurture the space to make me want to create it. And quite honestly, I created on a cardboard table and chairs in my living room for many, many years. So it's not just about the space. It's about just showing up to create in general. How many of you, feel like you have to be inspired to show up? And I think that gets in our way a lot. So we got our poll coming up. Almost every time is in the lead for 48%. So I'm going to let more of you answer that before I, close that poll. So we got 32 of you in here. So we should have 32 votes here. Let's see here. We have 24 votes so far, so that's actually quite high. So sometimes it's 29% and rarely it's 21. So there is quite a few of you that's almost every time. So that's good that you're here today. That's really good that you're here today. The artist way is very helpful. Yep, I've done all that. I did the artist way probably, I would say 19, 20 years ago I did the artist way, and I still have my morning page spiral book. That's really great to help you. Big Magic, that's a great book too. I love that book, Amy. Very good book. So real quick, before I get all dived in here, I have this piece put up here, and this is the Garden of Wisdom. And this piece is this last week's. I'm doing 2 lessons a month now, and this is the second lesson from August, and it's called, the Garden of Wisdom is what I went with. But I kind of ended up in a middle between the 2 pieces I showed for inspiration. I really had a great time playing with this one, bringing out the whimsical elements, doing all the mark making. So if you're interested in diving in and trying out this piece, I take you on the whole journey, deep dive in there, step by step. You get the line art, you get everything that will help you on this journey inside my Pastel Insider membership. So I'm going to put that little link in here if you're interested in learning more. It's also down below for the Pastel Insider membership in the description, but you can check it out, and you can always try it out and then even cancel anytime. So here it is. This is the link for that. And I just had so much fun with this one. Just the colors alone made me happy. All right, so I'm going to bring this one down. Put that aside over here. And then I'm going to get set up for this real quick. I just got to zoom in a little bit. Give you the up close view. Cheryl says she's currently in the process of moving her studio space to a different location. I think that'll help and feel more comfy to get started. Well, I want to really dive into about just getting started, you know, with the idea of like waiting for that inspiration before you even start can be a little depressing at times, and you can be really hard on yourself. And a lot of times when I would do a big project, what would happen was I was tired from it, or just finished a painting. It was really hard to get into another one again, or I just didn't know what I wanted to do, and I wasn't feeling it. And the other thing that always challenged me is I had in my mindset that it had to be a big deal to get into the studio. And so I started just coming up with this whole idea of just showing up for like 5 minutes and just playing around. So some of the big things, I have a few rituals that I like. It's wonderful to create a ritual that works for you and your belief system and what kind of energizes you. Sometimes I'll even, sage my whole space, clear out anything that doesn't serve me, and I'll do that. I have sound bowls that I'll bring through my studio. I will do that. But biggest thing is that a lot of times you disconnect energetically to your supplies and what you're doing. So I'm all about like talking to your supplies, talking to your studio, waking things up, cleaning it. If you just need to like move things around, some people are swatching and doing that. If that's all you can do right then, at least you're moving things around and playing with color. I think that's definitely the next step in to creating something. But what I want to show you today is, how to just kind of get the juices going, because you got to do some action for inspiration to show up, is what I believe. I've been doing it for years now, and for me, if I am actually moving things around and playing with color and just coming up with a basic, like what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to pick a color, and I'm going to pick greens. Greens make me happy right now. So these greens are going to get me into just playing around. So if we go in with a sense of play, without expectation, without judging our art supplies, here's a big one. I know a lot of you are worried about using up your art supplies without making something to show for it. You really got to let go of that, because every time you show up, even if you move paint around and it's not something for show, it's doing something energetically, because it's not just about producing, it's about connecting. So we're wanting to connect with our art supplies by talking to them, whatever works for you, waking them up. Hello, I'm so excited to play with green today. And I am going to let go of expectations of it being anything. And this piece will lead into connecting and giving me ideas for something else. If it's not this piece, because that's why I do abstract. I do abstract to get my inspiration going. I get loose with it. I let it go. So what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to just give you an example of just a showing up time. And the big thing I want to express too is that, I'm using the UArt 600, my favorite paper, dark, 600 grade sanded pastel paper. It's a nice paper. We're not wasting it, you guys. We're not wasting anything. Nothing goes to waste. You showing up is priceless. So if you have in your head that you're wasting anything, or you're not good enough for this paper, or you're going to go use some watercolor paper, or some paper you don't really love, or you're going to use up something, you want to use what we're normally going to use for day to day, because paper makes is the most important supply. So even if you're using like a Clairefontaine pastel matte, whatever your paper that you have available to you at the time, I highly suggest for you to use. Now this paper right here, I've used it for 2 different things in my lessons, and I've erased it. So I just use my eraser here, my all-in-one. That's the awesome thing. And I've erased it. So that's what I'm using today. Nothing ever goes to waste. I can erase the paper all the way down to this and use it for another project. So let go that you're going to waste your paper. If you've used up your whole pack of paper, you should be celebrating to yourself. And that's what I want to get across for you today too. We don't always have to produce something that we want to frame or post on social media, and we've been conditioned to do so. So let yourself just play and have some fun. So we're going to pick a color like green here. And what color is speaking to you today? You know, tell me in chat. If you were going to show up for colors today, what colors do you think are going to excite you just to get started? So let me close out this poll here. We have 48% of you, almost every time you have resistance with showing up in the studio. And that's a lot of you. I think it's common, and it's good to come here in this community and realize you're not alone, right? Like that. Being an artist is very lonely, even though we're having a great time, right? It's like a juxtaposition of like, we're lonely, but we're having a great time. So that's quite a few of you. And, you know, sometimes that's 33%. I would say I would be probably in the sometimes to rarely. I'm at that spot, but I used to be in the almost every time. I really did. I've had my own moment with it. Let's see here. Cleaning it really helps. That's exactly what I did. I have gone through this last couple weeks, and I'm in a transition right now. I'm constantly growing and evolving in my business, and I'm finding out what I love and what I could let go of. And that was the deal I made for myself when I started this business. And so it's evolving. Pastel and Cider is going to be a year old next month. And that has to continue to evolve if I want to keep doing it and not feel like suppressed. So there are times where I'm like, what's going on here? How am I feeling? And so that's where these things come from too, is I can share them with you. So let's see. Awesome. So Farm Girl loves blue. Luis is always purple. Yes, it can be very lonely to be an artist, and that's why you're here, because this is a great community to kind of feel connected. I tell my studio, I'm sorry I'm not in there. Well, why don't we flip the narrative, Debbie, and say, I look forward to seeing you soon, studio. I'm coming. You know, we got to flip the narrative. Because our words are powerful. They're really powerful. Like, even they were talking how water can be affected by vibration and our energy and all of that. So definitely just flipping our narrative can really help. So let's go in here. I'm going to get us started a little bit. And we got one person. We got Terry says she loves purples and pinks. I love that. Love knowing what colors would inspire you guys. If you are watching the replay, please tell me what inspires you. What color would you show up to play with today? Or that might inspire you after this live to say, okay, I'm going to go wake up my creative space. I'm going to go talk to my supplies and really just, you know, reconnect the thread between them and you. Even if it's just picking them up and holding them, or, you know, looking at the colors, all the things will really be helpful. So what I like to do when I go in is I always start with black, and that just kind of gives me some freedom. And I don't want to really go over anything too dark. Now, just like if you were working on acrylic or canvas, you know, just using some black underneath here will just get you started. Let me get the, we're on a -1 here. Let me get the light up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Gonna move this. And I bet you we're gonna get pretty far today, but this is just to get us going. Like, this is just to get started. So if all of you are here today I don't even care, you know, I don't care if you're using pastel, if you're using whatever art supply that's got you going, that you can reach to and feel good about. Just go in and let's start this way. And we have to do action for inspiration to show up. That's my message for all of you today. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to start getting some black down. Laura's here. Welcome, Laura. So glad that you're here. Margaret likes violet. She's inspired by violet right now. Ari is saying orange. Ann Cannon is here. I love this conversation. Finally figured out how to access the chat. Woo woo. Good for you, Ann. Glad to be here. I'm glad that you're here. I would use turquoise and maybe some orange with it. Okay, so Debbie's got turquoise. Amy's wants teals and oranges. Oh, you guys are all so sweet. Welcoming Ann. Yes, we got 33 of you here. So glad that you're all here. So I love to just scribble and break things up. Now, if my mind will always go to some type of focal point, and I talk a lot about those, so if you haven't heard about those, I'll grab something and gravitate towards it. But I'm just going to sit here and break things up a bit, and then I'll get a little bit more aggressive with it. But a lot of times things end up being circles. But with black, I just want to loosen up. And I used to do these things where I would just do these little light scribbles all over. And I'm really light. Like, I want you guys to see that I'm barely leaning onto the paper. And what this is doing is it's number one, it's not freaking my nervous system out. So I'm like, it's okay. I'm just having fun. And look, if I don't like something, I can erase it, guys. Oh, I didn't like that. It's all erasable. We're relaxing into it, folks. So this is all to just get you to show up. So I want to remind, I'm going to say this multiple times. We don't care that we're creating anything. If something comes of this, great. Let go of it having to be something. If it comes up to being something, wonderful. That's awesome. But we are not putting any pressure on ourselves, and we are not wasting any supplies. We're not wasting. Everything moves you closer to being the artist, the creative that you want to be. And showing up is, I believe, 90% of being an artist. 90%, guys. So if you can just find a way to get over the resistance, that is what I found out was the key for myself. I realized I got all kinds of intellectualizing. Raise hand in chat if you are an intellectualizer. Are you someone that thinks a lot about what you're doing from beginning to end? You've almost intellectualized your way out of showing up. You've intellectualized your way out of doing that or this or creating that. You've already been like, well, I'm not good enough. I don't think I have the skills enough yet for that. I'm going to waste paper. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You see what I mean? Like, when we're artists, we're alone a lot. So we're having to battle our brain. And here's the secret, folks. It's only us that's in our own way. So this whole thing is about getting ourselves in alignment. We are trying to get ourselves in alignment for our dream to be a creative. And the only way to be a creative is to show up. And you can see today I got lots of scribbles on here. Some of them might be something, some of them might not be. And sometimes you can find things in here. You can find faces and things. But I'm probably going to go with more of an abstract vibe here because I just want to show up and play. And you can do a lot with the black layer. All right, I'm going to catch up a chat here. Now that I moved past some health issues, I can get back into regular hours in my studio. Oh, Laura, I'm so glad that you're feeling much better. That is so good. Debbie says, I'm right on all accounts. Woo, woo. I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad this is resonating with you. I know there has to be a lot of you in here. We got lots of hand raising about being an intellectualizer. How many of you are intellectualizing? I know there's more. If you don't know where the hand emoji is, just put an emoji in chat. Put a thumbs up in chat. Like, yeah, I'm an intellectualizer. I'm intellectualizing a lot of things. That's great news. I know that is such good news about Laura. Oh, yes. The not using the expensive paper because I'm not good enough, that went on for years. Seriously, you guys. Even if you've had to order this paper and it cost you more, you still are worthy, no matter where you are in your journey, to use the good paper. Because the thing is, guys, if you're not using the good paper, you're going to have a poor experience. It'd be like, okay, this is the only way I can like relate it to you. If you're a watercolor artist and you're doing watercolor, and then it doesn't matter if the papers are all labeled watercolor, but you don't think you're worthy enough to use watercolor paper, how do you think your watercolor journey is going to be if you're just painting on mixed media paper or something cheap that's not made for watercolor? Your watercolor experience is not going to be very good. Do you need to buy the high-end stuff? No. But there's certain papers that are going to work better with you. And UArt is probably middle of the road when it comes to cost. So I want to have a good experience. I think you guys can have quite a good experience if you have like even Clairefontaine, you know, pretty good. This is the layering paper. All right, so I got quite a few things in here, kind of playing with my favorite composition is the word I'm going. And I'm going out here, and I think I want to maybe push this up a bit. And then I'm going to start playing with some color here. And I'm like thinking, what out of these colors am I most happy about right now? What would really, I'm going to just grab one of my favorites, is this Viridian Matte. Now I am not limiting myself with the Viridian Matte. I'm going to sharpen it up, and I'm going to just start laying in some color. Now, as you notice, I have not gone to the PanPastel. For these types of warm-ups, I don't always find the PanPastel right away as fulfilling. So I want to scribble, I want to feel childlike, and I don't always get that relief or that feeling when I just go straight to the PanPastel. So that's, you know, one thing that I've discovered. And many of you, I'm sure, have heard of like intuitive painting, like really connecting with your highest self while you're painting. And a lot of times if you just go slow with this is what I feel like I connect with that, and I get into flow and I get reconnected with my creative self, and it's a lot of fun. As you can see, I'm not really wanting to get real tight with things. I don't want to get real tight, and I want to loosen up, and all we're trying to do is break free. I want to get you guys out of jail, creative resistance jail. I want to open the doors, and we're all going to walk through and just scribble. I mean, if you feel comfortable scribbling with something else, that's great, but I do feel working with the medium can be really helpful. So this was the Viridian Matte, the 590, brand new one I got to use today with you guys, brand new. My other one was like a little stub like this guy. And then I have another one here, which is the 530, and this is the emerald green. And I might put some PanPastel in here in a minute. But look how fun this is. I get to just play. I feel like I've just taken a deep breath and I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with us. We're just having some resistance that we're going to work through, and we'll be able to show up a little bit more here, giving ourselves permission. All right, let's see what. Just spent several hours, says Karen, over the past several weeks going through my art supplies, collected over 26 years, shared a lot with friends, and donated a lot to Vietnam vets. Now organized and ready to create. Oh, that's great, Karen. Louise says, glad you're feeling better, Laura. Yeah, we're all glad that you're feeling better, Laura. Seriously. Terry's, look at all you guys. There we go. We got some hands raised. And JC Creates. Welcome, JC. So glad that you're here today. All these intellectualizers. We're all here. Terry's here. Farm Girl's here. Marjolin, I think is right. From the Netherlands. Little too late to draw, but nice to watch in bed. Yeah, I'm just trying to get you inspired to like think about tomorrow when you wake up, what color you're going to be most excited about, Marjolin, to use. And that you could wake up if you're feeling any resistance and try this in your own studio or your creative space. Analysis paralysis. So true. I only buy the good paper, but then don't do art. Well, JC, what if we could celebrate every time you used a piece of paper, instead of going from the place of lack and go into the place of abundance? Like every time I use a piece of paper, I am getting closer to creating more and more art that I want to create. And I should celebrate that I showed up and used this paper today, or these pencils up. So for instance, you know, Susan Thames out there, I know you're one of them, and I think Laura too. When I get these little stubs here, guys, I'm not like, oh man, I got to go buy another pencil. What kind of energy is that? Like, we want to be like, oh my gosh, look how much I've showed up. I've used up this pencil, and that means I've done a lot of art, and I'm proud of myself. And yeah, I might have to go buy some more pencils, but that's a good sign. That's a healthy sign that I'm in the studio doing stuff. And we don't want to be hard on ourselves if we're not getting in the studio. I'm just trying to give you ways to get rid of some of the resistance if you're open to it. Because we're all going through different things, right? I mean, you showing up here at this live is not, you know, some random thing. We're meant to connect here. It's a sign, if this is just one part to get you guys maybe thinking a little bit differently, like planting some seeds to help you get, you know, past a couple things that will help you get more inspired, or maybe, you know, let go of some baggage that's weighing you down, of some thoughts that you've, you know, chosen to believe. Let's shed that stuff, right? It can just take a hike. So I'm not judging myself that I'm just making circles here and going, oh my gosh, I'm just making, you know, I'm just having fun with green. And there's a little bit of me that's just like, oh, maybe I should use PanPastel. But we all know how much I love PanPastel and that I can use it. And I'll put some in here. But look how one thing's leading to another thing. And sometimes what happens is, it's not necessarily this piece, but all of a sudden I got something going. And when I've left this session or during this session, I'll go, you know what? I think I want to paint an owl with this in it, or these colors, or that. And then I'll go, I'm going to do that tomorrow, or I'm doing that the next session. But give yourself grace, because I have gone through 3 days. It can happen where I just show up and do this stuff, or I'll just show up and talk to my stuff and everything. So realize we're all different. It's okay. All right. So I've got a lot of fun green in here. I'll put some PanPastel in here too. But I'm using the black as a guide to guide me through here. I'm not overthinking like fundamentals, those are for a different time right now. I just want to have fun with my marks. If you rotate the pencil on this paper, you get a finer line. And if you're lighter with the pencil, your line's even more fine. All right, I'm going to check up on chat here. We got a question. Marjolaine has a question. And, oh, it's about the eraser. So just this leads into, I have a link down below in the description. So under the description in YouTube, you can click more, and then it'll pop down, and you'll see that it'll give you a list that you can go check this out. All of my supplies are listed, and I have connected with a really good art supply company called Merry Artists. They're only local, so I think you're out of the country. Am I right? Yeah, you're out of the country. But this is called the 4-in-1 eraser. It's Vanish. It's called Vanish, all-in-one, 4-in-1. But you can at least go look at it and then go find it. Originally, it's from Jerry's Artorama, but I had Merry Artists carry it, so you might be able to find it. So that's my favorite eraser, and it's pretty amazing because I can erase anything in here, and what I actually can do is break things up and make more of an abstract. I use it as a tool, so the eraser is my tool. All right. Samaj is here. Welcome, Samaj. Oh, thank you, Susan, for answering that. I didn't see that you answered that already. Oh, Luis did too. You guys are amazing. Yes, everything's pastel, and everything is linked below. They're all pastel pencils. These are the Carbothello set. And if you're just new here and you want to really get an introduction to PanPastel and pastel pencils, I have just launched a brand new free Enchanted Mushroom Intro to PanPastel lesson. So I'm going to put that in here in chat, and I can pin it. And you can go subscribe to my newsletter. Once you subscribe, you'll get a welcome newsletter with a link to join the pastel free lesson library, soft pastel free lesson library. A whole bunch of other lessons in there, but the intro, you'll get a little, a little packet that talks everything you need to know to get started, all the supplies, all the pencils that I use, all my favorites, stuff like that. So you'll even get a top 12 suggested PanPastel list, and then I go into 20 or 20 to 24 of where I would buy and in what order for suggestions. So it's like a whole little mini guide that you're going to get to intro to this amazing magical medium. So there's no other catch except you just need to subscribe to my newsletter, and then you'll be a part of my community there. And I send out newsletters on every Tuesday. And if you become a Pastel Insider member, you also get a newsletter on the Fridays that I release lessons, which is twice a month. All right, let's see. Thank you, Dawn. First thing tomorrow morning, I'm going to sit down at my dinner table for years and just pastels and pastels and pastels. Well, good, good. That's awesome. The mushroom lesson is really brilliant, easy for beginners. Yeah, it's definitely there to get you guys started without overwhelm and to have a really positive experience. And that's why I redid the whole thing. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And once I got into this membership long enough, I realized what was missing was just a really good intro to everything that would get you started and not be overwhelmed. And it's got all my top questions in it. I answer a lot of facts about, do I spray? Do I not spray? How to, care for your PanPastel. You'll get an overview of that. So there's a lot of those videos in that area too. And I have a lot on YouTube. So I've got a lot of stuff everywhere. All right. So I got quite a bit of mark making. I'm feeling pretty free. It feels really good. I'm not really trying to create anything. I do have in mind that, you know, this is going to be a really fun abstract, and I'm going to start integrating a complementary color is what I'm going to think about doing. So I've got all these wonderful greens, and how I work, and even to rainbow things out, I'll give you a tip in there. So hang on, I'll give you a tip about how my style goes from just starting here. So I'll pick a color, and then I can make that as my dominant color for right now. And then I'll simplify it because I don't want to be overwhelmed. There's no overwhelmness allowed right now. And if you have a color wheel and you don't have all the answers, you can even Google it. But I'll go, oh, which one of these greens do I really like? I got a blue green, I got a green, I got a yellow green. And then what I'll do is I'll just go, oh, the complementary is red. Or I could go red violet, or I can go red orange. That's going to hit with any of these greens, and it doesn't really matter. I don't really care if it does hit necessarily, but I'm probably going to play with, you know, red, orange. I'm thinking like vermilion as a color, and I could wait to not put that in necessarily with my PanPastel. I mean my pencils. I can start putting that in with my PanPastel, so that'll be kind of fun. So I have some of my vermilion over here, one of the new colors. If you don't have vermilion, you know, you're not doing this exact. You're picking your colors that speak to your soul right now, that make you excited to play with. And then I can just start putting some of that in here. And just playing and using what I already have in there to kind of shape what I got. Now I can even grab a couple of my vermilions here. I thought I had a vermilion extra dark. Is this it? This is the shade. It looks like I've misplaced my vermilion extra dark. I thought they had an extra dark in that line. Here's the shade. I can go a little darker. And I'm just playing. I'm gonna let those lines peek out, because if I knock them, they'll knock off. And I'm just gonna, maybe vermilion's gonna be my main color here. I don't know. So I'm just going to keep pulling that a little bit. I love doing this too. Let's see. I'm gonna go, well, maybe right here. I got a lot of little ones there, so I'm gonna go right here. Just coming up with circles and mark making and patterns. We are trying to get you guys out of resistance jail by just letting go and not being caught up in what we're making. We're just trying to get connected with our creative selves and wake it back up and say, hello, I'm here and I'm ready to be inspired. So action creates inspiration, 100%. At least in my world. I just can't wait for inspiration to hit me anymore. Now, we all have kind of an inner child, right? I don't know how many of you guys connect with that, but I believe that when we become adults, our inner child is still there and it can kick and scream and have a whole tantrum about showing up in the studio. And sometimes I think I just have to tell my inner child that it doesn't matter we're showing up today. It's like, you're getting on the bus, girl. You're getting on the bus and you are going to show up no matter what today. And if it's just scribbling, then that's what you're gonna do. Because we're tired of being in our own head and intellectualizing everything. and it's going to feel better. I promise you, you're going to feel better. And you're going to go, oh my gosh, I touched my supplies today. Instead of, I've spent all this money on the supplies and I never touched them. We all go through collector's phase. We all go through it. I know it has to be universal. But if we can just show up and scribble, what if you just scribbled for a week? Like, do you really think it's going to happen that you're just going to scribble every single day and not have an idea come to you? I would highly doubt that that's going to happen. But what if you told yourself, I'm going to just show up and scribble for a week just to get rid of the pressure? Like, I don't have to do anything, man. I'm just going to show up and I'm going to scribble. I mean, that feels kind of good, right? And if I run out of my paper, then I'm going to just erase it all and start over the next week on those 7 pieces of paper that I used. And we just have to reframe it. It's all about perspective. All right. So I've got lots of vermilion in there. I mean, it's kind of getting hot. It's getting hot in that painting. Let's see here. I'm going to check in with chat here. Yeah, I didn't think there was. I was like, am I going crazy that there's no vermilion extra dark? I don't have them all memorized, but thank you, Pam. I'm like, Marjolaine says, thank you, Susan and Dawn. You're going to look it up. All right, awesome. Well, you'll get a visual if you follow that link below. I heard this week that inspiration comes from the act of doing. That's exactly what I said in my live stream. That's what I'm talking about. I put a quote in the newsletter on Tuesday from Picasso that, you know, it's not going to happen unless we're doing it. We got to do it. So I was trying to think. I think I have that in my download, the exact quote. I have to go look it up now because it's driving me crazy that I can't remember it. It's right here. Picasso says, inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. From Picasso. And so that's what I put in my newsletter this week as the creative spark. The doing is the why without the need to know anything else beyond that. Allowing yourself to just play. You might be surprised what shows up. Healing happens. Exactly. If you're healing all of it, 100%. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Samaj. Sometimes it feels that the doing is childish, and if it's not for something, then what is it worth? This is really everything. I would say this painting is more important than one that you're doing for like a lesson or following something. Like if you can just show up and play and have some fun, this is huge. Okay, I'm gonna bring some other colors in. I'm feeling a little warmed up now. I'm feeling a little connected. So let's see what I wanna do. I actually think I wanna bring more greens in. So I'm gonna go in with this permanent green light. And I also think I'm inspired now. Got some inspiration going that I wanna grab my raw umber, a little bit of neutral here, and put that on. So I'm inspired to do that now. So I got that. I got my green here. And orange really transitions from these two really well, so I can get some of that in there. So here's how, so red and green are complementaries. So what happens is if you go, okay, I've decided to get the red orange, I will always go next to it. Here's your little gem for teaching. Go next to it on the piece. So I got red here. I'm going to put orange next to it. I'm going to put orange. I got some orange. See what I mean? And that is going to transition those colors. And then I'll come back to some pencils, but I want to bring in more of the greens. So I'm going to play with that. Well, maybe I'll use the yellow green. The diarylide, one of my favorites. So now I'm using all these wonderful shapes that I made to come together. And you can see my choices of color are going where the green is. I can isolate some of those and pop some of those other colors around. Wipe off my wand. I'm going to get a neutral in here. I could use white, like a raw umber tint even, but I'm going to go with this raw umber and get some neutrals in here. Now neutrals, I know from a lot of experience, is going to make your color choices pop. I have a lot of pans that are about ready to, this one's almost gone. This is from the last lesson because I used so much of it in the owl, so it's really bright here, but I use a ton of it in that, so that's why that's almost going down here. And you know what I'm really liking is I think I'm going to bring some of this with my green in there. Bring some of this teals in. So this is how you mix teal. Use turquoise and one of the greens, and you'll get more of a teal if you don't have the new colors. I'm not overthinking it. I'm just letting it kind of happen, especially for this first layer. I think I want to bring a lot of this in though. I'm liking the teal with the permanent green shade. Now using a shade, PanPastel is structured by adding black makes it darker in value, so the shade has black in it, so it's going to reduce its chroma, its vibrancy. Got a little bit, you know, now I'm kind of getting where I'm feeling inspired, so I'm like, you know what, I feel like I got quite a bit of red in there, and I'm going to probably work on maybe shifting that a little bit, and it's really easy to do. I can go in with some more pencils. Let's go in with some of these greens. That's a pretty color. And when you mix some of the other colors in with each other, they start to harmonize. Then I'll catch up here on chat in just a minute. And just a reminder that this is the first layer. That's something that we forget a lot too. I'm a layer addict. I believe the magic is in the layering. So this is almost like just the underpainting of it all. But I'm having fun kind of putting all these little puzzle dots together. Like that's bringing me joy. So I'm going to lean into that more. Really like the turquoise mixed with the bright yellow green. Let's see if this might balance this out a little bit. It's really pretty color. Okay, I'll catch up with chat here just a sec. And people are like, well, I don't really understand abstract. You know, what's the point? I don't connect with it. Abstract's just, a lot of times you can just lean into it a little bit more for just this reason. Just for the reason of loosening up. It doesn't have to be your style or your type of painting. You can loosen up with it and it might surprise you, to be quite honest. I've always been a little obsessed with abstract, and I talk in a lot of my lessons and even on here in the lives about, you know, the secrets to unlocking abstract. And a lot of that is composition. So the mystery will leave, you know, once we unlock how abstract really works. But we're not really getting deep into that right now because I just want to get some color in here, and then I'm going to come in with another layer here and just see where that kind of goes. I'm really liking this spot right here, so I can see what I like. Maybe I want to tone this down. I don't know yet. So I'm going to catch up with chat here and get a drink of water. Let's see. I read that. Yes, yes. I always say it's the journey. It's so true, Debbie. You know, it's not, you can even reframe that about the journey. What I want to send out to you guys is really thinking about falling in love with your process, with the process. And if you're liking all the mark making, do more of that. If you're liking, you know, maybe you've taken a live or you've done a lesson and you like the stenciling, lean more into doing more of the stencils and playing with those. So you keep note of what you're liking, what feels good, what painting, if you look back on some of the ones you're doing, did you feel the most connected and aligned with? Let's see. Well, Marjolaine, you could just use a white eraser. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Some white erasers, they're like the poly eraser, will leave a residue, so you just have to watch out for that. But for the most part, you can just get a soft white eraser. That'll work. And there's harder white erasers and there's softer ones. That's true. You can add black to the vermilion and make the extra dark. 100%. That's how the PanPastel system is all set up. I teach that in a lot of the lessons. It's basically in all of them. So if you add black to any of the colors, you're going to go darker on the value scale. And I give this value scale to everyone in the free lesson library. You can get it in there if you don't have it. Yeah, you're like echoing me, Samaj. We're on the same page. Not intending to make allows the energy. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but you're definitely aligned with me. So it's so true. Yes, Farm Girl, you're on it. Today I grabbed some sketchbooks, says Lynn, and I made a mess with watercolor, markers, and Neo. I tried to do a study of Duran and Van Gogh, and they were bad. It just turned the page and kept going. Yeah, sometimes when we get too caught up in making studies and all of that, you don't need anything to show for it. Never. Just showing up and moving the energy is what this is all about. You never need anything to show for it, because the act of doing, the magic's in that. And we got to shed that thought that we don't have anything to show for it. There's really a lot of power that you showed up today. So let's reframe the perspective there and say, you know what, I'm really proud of myself. I showed up today. I moved through something, even though I did a study and it didn't really work that great, in my opinion. But I'm moving color around and I'm playing with paint and I'm having, you know, fun just reconnecting with my supplies. You don't need to have anything to show for it. The showing for it, if you really want to frame it that way, is the celebration that you showed up for yourself today. And if you can just focus on showing up and let all the other stuff go, you're gonna let go of a lot of that resistance and judgment of yourself. Adrian's here. I miss her sneaking in. Hello, Adrian. I don't know where you snuck in at. Let me see. Ah, there she is. I hate it when I'm late. Oh, you missed quite a bit, Adrienne, but there is the replay so you can watch that. But I'm glad that you made it here today. Yeah, exactly, Lynn. Just making time for yourself is huge. So I'm going to get a drink of water here. And you know what? Do I love what I've got? If I'm really going to judge it, do I love what it is right now? No, but does it have potential? Heck yeah, it's on the first layer. I'm just having fun. But if it doesn't turn out, I'm not caught up in that. So I'm going to go in probably with a little bit more black. Exactly, Lynn. I want to hear you, though, celebrating yourself that you showed up, because that's huge. Many people aren't even there yet. So that's why I'm with a membership that I have and doing this every week. I know that there's a lot of people in resistance to showing up. And if we can just unpack that, reframe it. It's all about reframing our perspective and flipping it into talking positive about ourselves. I went into my studio and I saged it today and woke things up. I went and moved things around. I dusted it. I, went and looked at the colors and learned some of the colors today. I'm pretty proud of myself. I haven't done that in a while, just anything like that. You know what I find is a big one for me? I just started seeing the pattern recently, and I have probably, 20 something plants in here, because they're all on my wall and they're all over. I have a wall over here on my right side with probably, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plants just on this wall over here. And what I've realized that I have to nurture my plants. I have to water them, nurture them, check on them, talk to them. If I don't feel like my plants are have had attention, I can't seem to create. So before I got started today, I misted all my air plants. I talked to my air plants, made sure everyone, right now, there's a few voices back there. My orchids need to be soaked. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So if I don't do those things, it causes me resistance, and then I'm spending time doing that. So, oh my goodness, Chrisella's in the house. Hello, girl. You're going to have to watch this replay to catch up, but I'm so glad that you made it here today. We're talking all about, inspiration. Do you wait for inspiration before you show up in your creative space? And I'm here to tell you, what if inspiration comes when you begin, when you show up. And like our quote today, which I'm really loving that Samaj reminded me to bring up, was the quote from Picasso, inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. It's really true, guys. I've done it so many years. It's really true. I am time poor too, Lynn, and struggled to get to the easel. So here's something for the people who are time poor. How many of you feel like you don't have enough time? Raise your hand in chat. You can use an emoji. You can whatever. How many of you feel like you don't have enough time, like Lynn, and you feel like that's what's holding you back to showing up some days? I know there's got to be quite a few in there. So now I can go through with my black here, and I can shape some things. And then I can commit to something too. I can hey, you know what? I'm really going to maybe commit to this being black. Now, black guides your eye. It is an extreme contrast, so it can guide your eye in the piece. Okay, we're asking how many of you feel like you have not enough time to create. No one? There's no one in chat? Oh, come on, guys. There's got to be some chat there. Louise says, my show up today is going to be painting samples on our wall for our renovations. We have to pick a color for the entire house. after the first 9 being no good and the other 12. Yes. Well, you know what else, Louise? You showed up here today. So that's showing up too. I highly suggest that's showing up. Samaj says, you will hit the walls in the process of the creating, and that is a gift. The wall allows you to break it down and do something totally out of your norm. My barriers are health and caring for others. Yes, that can be definitely a barrier. So let me talk to you guys, since I don't have a lot of hands in there. I know there's a lot of you, though, there out there. We have 34 of you, 38 of you in here today. And here's the thing, is that I was talking through this the other day, and the thing I've discovered is that when we used to have more time, we would show up in the studio for a long stretch. And that's what maybe some of us have in our head, that the only way I'm going to create something that I love is if I have a chunk of, hour or two to really be in the studio and to really be able to create. And it's not true. Even if you, especially with soft pastel, guys, what you can do is set up some blank pieces that are 9 by 12 or whatever, get them taped up on a board, however you create, prep your studio ahead of time. Then you're not wasting any of your time fussing with that. And then what you do is that you don't have to show up for a long amount. You can just do, I have to say, I think with everyone, you probably have 5 minutes. You really do. And even if you came up and you decided to come up and, oh my gosh, I'm going to squiggle like this. So say I had this here from the other day. I'm just showing up to it. I got a few minutes of break. Maybe I don't feel totally into it, but I'm going to show up and I'm just going to put some marks in here. I got even 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, if you think of how long 3 minutes is right now, you just play a little bit without having to make a full lesson, without having to do a whole lot. Give yourself some blank sheets of other things that aren't precious, that you can have out and just show up and move some paint around and give yourself some healing time to be with that and to feel good, like, yeah, look, I had this huge schedule today and I had to do all this stuff, and I still went into the studio and scribbled on a piece of paper. You know what I mean? These are just ideas. I'm just trying to create. I have gone through a lot of these myself. I, was a mom. I am a mom, but I had 2 small children, and I created a lot during that time. And I was up doing it very late at night a lot of times, but it was not easy. And I was alone a lot too at that time at night, but it was the only time I had to create, really. But I would go sneak out during their naps and try to do some things, but I never really had that big block of time. I would say the last probably 5 years is when I started being able to work full-time as an artist. Okay, so I've got this going on here, and I'm going to start adding a few things to tone down a few areas. Let me catch up on chat here. Right on, Samaj, you're in the same vibe. I'm disabled and retired, so time is good, but my mind fog can keep me on the couch, and I have MS, but I keep fighting back. Well, it's good that you've reached out and you're here today live, and I'm sorry that you have the health struggles. I know a lot of people here in my community navigate some of that. So just being where you're watching the videos when you maybe don't feel 100%, that could be something you could do. But you're here today, so that's pretty amazing. So I'm glad that you showed up here, Farm Girl. I'm retired and have a good bit of time. We're all on different time things, aren't we? So I'm going to show you here that I'm going to even maybe use my erasers, and I'm going to tone down this section. And I'm going to go in with some green. This is the bright yellow green, extra dark. So the black's going to mix in. So I'm just kind of playing around and seeing what it's going to end up being. Thank you, Samaj. Oh, take care, Marjolaine. I'm so glad you showed up today. I think that was your first time here, so I'm really glad you came. So sometimes when I feel like something might be a little too busy, I can take some black, which works with the PanPastel's process because black and white are working with the values. And so we can work with that and go, okay, I'm going to push some values back. I can bring them up with white and make tints, and I can push them back and make extra darks from them. So that's what I'm going to do here, is just play with that a little bit. And it'll also mix into what's down below and push them back. But this is just to give you ideas and to show you an example of how I would just show up for a studio time and play around. I have a lot going on here. I might just go in here and break this up a bit. Kind of like the idea of this kind of bridging. And so it's funny because abstract can be really funny because you don't know what patterns are going to pop up and what is going to come out of the whole thing. But you can see how a lot of my underlying, lines and everything will kind of dissipate because I go over them and that's just a layer. So I can wipe off my one, and then I'm going to transition here into these two. Kind of rainbow this out a bit. All right, I'm going to catch up on chat. Oh, Adrian sees the bird. Hey, Michelle's here. Welcome, Michelle. So glad that you're here. The answer is no, I try to do something every day, even if it's just to clean my art desk. I feel if I don't play with my art supplies, I'm letting myself down. I spend a lot of hard work and money on my supplies, and I'm not going to let them sit there and not being used. Well, welcome, Michelle. We're just really talking about today, do you wait for inspiration before you paint? Or, I'm saying, like, what happens if inspiration comes after you begin? So I'm just giving the community a little bit here today some inspiration of just giving yourself permission to play with no expectations. So glad that you made it. And this medium is so beautiful because it really can layer up and do some really beautiful things. I mean, PanPastel is just, it just ticks all my boxes. And I really love playing with it. I can take these really hard lines and then have this soft moment over here that I love. And then I can build on that. And that just really makes me happy of being able to kind of build on that. And then I can play with the idea of maybe I'll use orange or maybe I'll use red. Maybe I'll go green since it's on the edge. And so I can just go in between with pencils and start putting some mark making in, because I learned early on that mark making was my joy. I was obsessed with it when I did acrylic, and I had all kinds of stuff, and that's what I really love, is that stencils can really be used with PanPastel too. But I'm really in love with working with pastel pencils with the PanPastel, because I feel like I can do a lot of beautiful detail mark making with the pencils. See, and then we have that fun shape there that just kind of came about. Like, I am really, I would say probably a quarter of my brain is with chat, a quarter of my brain is the big picture, and a quarter of my brain's on the painting. So I don't really have a lot of bandwidth to work with on here, and it actually helps me because then I don't overthink it and I just let go. So that's the fun thing about it. Now, when I started out, I used to never use the pencils on the lower layers, but what I've discovered is that I like them when they wear away and they're not so dominant. I like to look like there's layers in here and go over them and kind of create that depth, that there's a lot more going on. And so the pencils being on the lower layers really do that for me. Unleash the child. Well, I'm having fun. I'm just saying. I kind of feel like this is a bird and this is its body and this is a wing. So I think I might be seeing the same things with you guys. You know, maybe I'll like bring that out a little bit and do a little white spot right there. And that kind of makes me think I could bring some white in, because I don't really like to use white right away, but I do like to use this. So I've gone dark, and now I could go, you know, I'm thinking, well, what else could I do that would be fun? I could go light now, and so I'm going to go and shift with that. And I'm going to catch up on chat here for just a second. Yesterday I cut up some of my paper into small 4x4 pieces so I can do some of the landscape studies when I don't have much time or inspiration. Exactly, Pam. Like what I really want to do is I have a lot, this kind of reminds me, you just reminded me of what I love. And number one, I'm really excited to meet you. I get to meet a couple of you that are in chat in person for the retreat coming up, and Pam's one of them. I'm really excited for that. But the idea that I like to have is, I did that little landscape mini class, and I want to take those landscapes and then just do really simple landscape studies with color and really simplify them. And it doesn't need to be anything I share. I can simplify them and move on and play with strokes. I also want to do a few more stick classes that incorporate sticks here and there. So it's fun to just kind of play and move through things. And I think the reason why I don't take myself, I'm just a little ahead of you guys, because I have over 7,000 hours worth of creating. So you learn a lot about yourself with that much time. And I've seen patterns over this time. And that's what I wanted about this community, was to help you guys through some of this, because I was alone the whole time. And that's why I started this YouTube community, because it's really about you guys. It's about connecting with you, connecting with community. And so I'm really glad to be here with all of you. Yes, it is great to have creative friends, Farm Girl. Unpaid overtime. That sounds awful. I'm so sorry. I worked for a terrible company that forced us to work overtime, but we got paid. Yeah, unpaid overtime does not sound like fun. So sorry, Chrisella. Wow. All right, so I'm going to work on this. I'm going to get another drink of water here. I can't believe it's 2:52. Where'd all the time go? And I'm thinking, oh, my camera should not be doing that. Just a second. It has this thing where it does auto framing, and I have to manually turn it off. So, okay. And it's getting a little warm. I might have to turn on my AC here in a minute. I know Luis is going to be like, Dawn, turn the AC on. I just don't like it running in the background. Okay. So I'm thinking about what I want to do, and I think I want to build some more transitions and I'm going to go lighter, like I said. So I'm going to use a lighter wand and bring up and maybe bring some of these lighter colors. So I'm going to use a raw umber tint, and I'm going to try to bring some of that white in here. And see how I'm using these layers to play with that. And this is what I love about PanPastel, this really softness that you can get. And the blendability is, I just don't think you can get the blendability, and have as much fun. Oils, I've heard, that's great, but so you can see how I'm just starting to bring in some stuff. Now, things that are going on my head, maybe it's a little busy, Dawn, but I don't care. This isn't something, I'm necessarily, I'm not trying to make it precious. We got to let things not be precious. Some of my best paintings are when I've decided that I don't care anymore. It's just going to be what it's going to be. And then those end up being some of my best pieces. I've had pieces that ended up, like, for instance, like I had a piece on social media that I literally hosed off because I didn't like it. And a lot of times when we don't like something, you guys, especially with abstract, it's because we don't recognize ourselves in it. Because if you go to some galleries and go do all that stuff, you will see some art that you would be like, that's not that good. And these people are like world renowned. And it's all perspective. And sometimes we just can't see ourselves in it, we can't recognize ourselves because it's new. So I love all the little hearts. Thank you so much. I see those out of the corner of my eye. Yes, they do. I love landscapes too. I would love to do more of those. Oh, Karen, you're so sweet. Hi, Jonas made it. Hey, Jonas. Hi, Jonas. We're talking about today, and the question for you is, do you wait to show up for inspiration before you paint? Or what if inspiration comes when in the act of doing? Which way do you kind of approach that? I'm really curious. Jonas paints quite a bit. We all tell you to turn it on. We're tough. We can take it. I'll give it a few more minutes. I only have 30 minutes. Yeah, Jonas is in the house. Michelle's in the house. Chrisella, Lynn, all of you guys are amazing. Okay. Some of you guys have been here for so long. Can you believe next month is a year for my Pastel Insider membership? I can't believe it. Some of you guys have been there since the beginning. All right. I like that right there. I don't want to mess with that. I love this right here. So this is what I'll start doing. I love certain things, so I don't want to mess with them. I'm going to play right here, though. I kind of want to find a spot that is a little bit bigger. And I can bring it up. I know it's gone by so quickly. Chrisella says she likes her job, so you don't mind the OT usually. Didn't know it would last quite that long. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. I hope you do something really special for yourself, Chrisella. Do something really special. So you can see bringing in the light there starts really kind of playing with our eyes a little bit. And I'm going to play with this some more. I'm going to go in and bring some of this vermilion light in. And this is going to really play off those teals. All the magic is in the layering. And if you are tired, give yourself that time to just go recharge. A lot of us will give up on the painting. I tell so many people in a lesson, you know, some of these lessons are, you know, 8 hours long. You gotta give yourself resets, like, you know, start doing it tomorrow, like take a break if you're tired. Okay, I'm really loving that vermilion light going into this cream right there. I like that. So I would call this an intuitive abstract. And you know what? I'm really creating with all of you. Your energy is all part of this painting. And we're all connected in it, you know? Like, I really believe that we're all connected in this painting right here. So you never know. I could be getting, you know, guidance from you guys and my inner being and all of that. So I'm loving this vermilion. So I'm thinking about what am I going to do right into this hole here. You know, I've not done a lot with pink and this brown. I really love it. So that's another thing that you discover if you're just playing, like color combinations that I haven't really thought about playing with as much. I think I'm going to bring that over here too. Maybe I bring it right there. I can even erase it a little bit. So the eraser is a tool. So I got this black in here. It's going to push that raw umber back into like an extra dark. I'm good with that. And we're working with the PanPastel system. So now that I'm liking that little color combination, I'm playing off of it. All right, let's catch up on chat here. Yeah, it's really gone by. Okay, Jonas says, I don't wait for inspiration. Yes, it comes in the act of doing as well. Sometimes a mix of it. 100% Jonas. I know you show up a lot in paint, so I was wondering how you felt about that. All right, so this spot, let's see if I can just make a continuous thread there. I like to sharpen my black pencil because I like it to be a certain way. Sometimes when I'm doing these little scribbles, if you want them more delicate. And you'll find your way to your mark. You know, the more you show up, you'll find your way with it. Okay. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna add maybe a really fun doodle here. I'm gonna need my stick here. That was a little off. There we go. I'm going to smooth this part. I like that, but I want to go darker. I'm going to do this. I realize it needs to be a little bit lower of a value. This medium is so flexible. It's kind of crazy. How I always like to push it. Like, what is the limitations, you know? White will leave marks, as you can see underneath there, but I'm okay with that. Worst case scenario, I can erase it a little. It's interesting how far the white will go down. I find that kind of fascinating. It can be really strong, and then I can just go in with my thing and it's still there. I mean, the color on my wand. And then I'm going to go, and now I have contrast. And you can do this, guys. Like, you can show up and just play like this. Always rotating my pencils so they sharpen as I go. And it's all about building up something from the layers. And then the cool thing is about, hope I don't have pastel on my face, but the cool thing is about those initial layers really give you that depth like I'm talking about. And then I'm still going here. And I can go on for even a few more layers, you know. Then I can use white. And the white is going to pop more, and I'm okay with that because it's a little dot, so that's why I'm choosing to use that. Now we have some fun whimsy coming into it. Thank you. A morning glory. Yeah, I like that. Yes, I always show up and work on something. Consistency is the key. Okay, guys, Jonas just inspired me. I'm going to show you the sign I have on my computer, and it's the biggest sign I have in my whole studio. And this is what it, oh, I might have to make a new one. Oh my gosh, it's been stuck on there so long that it's coming off. Well, I'm going to tear it and show it to you guys, and I'm going to make myself a new one. And it says this. I can't believe it's been on there for so long. This is what it says. Keep going, you guys. Consistency. Doesn't matter. As long as you're showing up, if that's your consistency, you're going to see big changes in your life. Even if it's just scribbling. And that's what I want to walk away from today, is that it's not about what you make, feeling like it's a waste of time or feeling like you didn't have anything to show from it. None of it is a waste. You're not a waste. You're not wasting time on yourself. You're actually, you know, healing and soothing yourself and connecting with yourself and getting through blocks that you might have. Or just be gentle. Be gentle with yourself and keep going. Consistency is the key. I have this reminding myself every day to just keep going. Just keep going. So I have that on here. I want to share that with you guys. I like that sign, and I agree that you will see changes in your life from it too. 100,000%, you guys. Like, seriously. You know, what did they say? I read this book. I wish I could comment on it. I'll scribble while I'm commenting, while I'm talking. But it was about 15 minutes a day. And if you just did 15 minutes a day, it could really change your life. So even if you did 10, whatever you decide. So I'm calculated on my calculator right now. So if I did 15 minutes a day times, you know, say I did it for 5 days a week, times 5, that's 75 minutes. So it's almost an hour a week. And then, you know, if you were doing an hour a week and there's 52 weeks, times an hour, you're doing 52 hours. Is that right? Did I just do math bad? But you know what I mean? Like you're getting hours that, you know, out of just 15 minutes. So imagine if you show up for 15 minutes a day, how much that can change your life. And it's really true. All right. So I'm going to play with this. I got a few more minutes, and I'm going to continue to put some of this whimsy in here, but I got to get some of this orange transition. I really want to transition some of this orange, but you can see how one color leads into the next, and I'm going to start playing with some mark making. Girl math, but you guys get my point, right? You do 15 minutes a day. We got it. You guys know what I mean. I'm not a mathematician, highly not math. I always tell people I'm an artist. I'm not, math is not my jam, but I just love the idea that 15 minutes a day can really add up and change your life. Okay, so I want to put another one of these in. I think I'm going to do it right here, and I'm going to do it a little bit smaller, and I'm going to do it in white because this is my focal point. But you know what? I'm going to wait. No, I'm not. I can't do it there because it's going to go 1, 2, 3. That's really strong focal points. Again, I don't want to get rid of this. I'm almost thinking I need to tone down that. So I'll show you how I tone down that. I'm just thinking now of like, I got to tone down something maybe a little bit in this. You know, now that I'm inspired and I'm showing up and I'm having a good time, I will get rid of whatever I'm not attached to the most. So out of these, these are kind of competing a little bit, but if I'm really starting to think now, like, I'm liking it. So if you show up and you like it, that's a good thing. If you show up and you didn't like it, don't be hard on yourself. I'm going to go in with this thing, but see, you never know when you show up if you're going to like it or not. You're just trying to get the action going, and I really love this neutral in here. I'm going to break down a few things. Now you're going to see how your eye's going to go here, and then I'm going to put another one of these, like maybe right here. I'm going to go with the same color because I was thinking focal point. I should have done white there. Oh, you know what? I think I was telling that story about the, who's here? Wolf saying. Wolf. I'm going to call you Wolf. Welcome. So glad that you're here. Don't think you've ever been in chat before. Welcome to my community. We're just showing up and we're talking about, do we wait for inspiration before we begin? And I am sharing with you today how doing some action can really wake up your inspiration. And that's what we want to do. We want to talk to our inspiration and start communicating with it. Because if we're not showing up, there's no option to talk to it. So we're waking it up right now, and that's what I'm talking about today. And I was talking about this abstract I did a long time ago, and I didn't recognize myself in it. I was really starting abstracts out, and I ended up trying to hose it off outside, and I took a photo of it before I hosed it off. And I was horrified because it was actually ended up being one of my favorite abstracts. And when I put it on my Instagram account, it went crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I destroyed that painting because I just didn't sit with me being uncomfortable with it. So I'm just going and I'm like, you know what? Do I love that? Do I not? I don't really love that, but it's so easy to fix. So I'm just going to go and play with it until I like it. Because this isn't precious. I think what I want is to have some of that underneath, and I want to break up the shape a little bit. Now, if anything today, you're walking away with the understanding, I hope, of how flexible PanPastel is. It's pretty amazing at the flexibility that I have when I'm working with it. All right, I'm gonna get a more sharp, and I went in with white on that and didn't love it. So my favorite sharpener is this M&R sharpener. I really love it, and we just do replaceable blades. I've tried a crank sharpener and I don't like how it eats all my wood, and it also eats my color a little more than I like, and this has been the best one that I feel like it's happy between both worlds. And I'd like to see if I can get that shape more the way I wanted it. Now, if you guys have any questions, this is a good time to ask before we sign off today. I like that one a lot better. It's a little more organic and it's floating around a little bit more. I like that. Let's see. Oh, Michelle, thanks for cheering everyone on. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love your support in this community. Oh, I love that you even put the comment about the video after it goes. Yeah, any interaction. All of you right now, there's 41 in there. If we look at this video, I could only hope and would love if there's 41 likes. So if you're watching and you are watching the replay too, I would love if you would just take a moment and like the video and help my algorithm out to get seen and all that. And if you are out there, I would love for you to answer some of the questions that I asked today. Tell me what colors you're going to be really inspired. If you're going to go in and approach your piece like I'm working on today, you know, what colors would you play with? I started off with green today because that's what really inspired me, and then I'm using the complementary of red to kind of guide me through. So I would love to hear what color that maybe is inspiring you right now. I'm thinking of putting one more of these little doodles up here because I like to do things in threes. Let's see here. Thank you, Michelle. You're so sweet. Louise says these white circles remind me of the black and white you do when you make them with erasers. Oh, that's so true. I do have that pattern a lot. I have the piece up in my studio too. Okay, nope. I love the abstract. Okay, I don't know what that means. Wolf. Let's see, did I miss someone? Hi, everyone. Well, I'm glad you love the abstract. Cheryl says, ooh, 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 me, 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 me. I see a carnival. My eyes went right to the kiwi. Does anyone have filtration systems for pastels? Well, I can answer that really quick. You know, I started off really hyper vigilant with filtration systems with my pastel. And I actually have an exhaust system that I used a a dust collection tray, and that's what my tray is on my studio. And that tray the exhaust tube goes out my window. I used to use it all the time, but I would mostly use it with stick pastels because they shed so much. So if I'm working heavily with stick pastels, I'd use the exhaust. I also have like a Winx, and I also have a Dyson, but I don't really keep them in the studio. I just don't feel like PanPastel really has a lot of dust at all. It's very low dust. And also the erasers that I'm using encapsulate all the dust, and I don't blow off in my studio. So with good studio practices and cleaning your studio, I don't really feel like I have to use all those things, but everyone's in different situations. So I do have an exhaust system, but I really don't use it. There's no way I could go live with it either. It's really loud. Okay, thank you so much, says Pam. It's exactly what I needed to hear today. I've been struggling. Oh, I'm so glad that you resonated with it, Pam. Yes, I go tap everything off outside. Susan is right. Loretta says thank you and everyone for this inspirational lesson. Oh, there's 39 likes. Way to cheer them on. We want to get 40. Colors of inspiration, the moment is dark navy and opera pink. Oh, I love that, Wolf. JC says teal, orange, purple, red. This is fun. I'll be going in and playing more often. Well, I hope this live inspired you guys. I really, really do. I'm going to put one more of these little guys up here. Kind of want that to be like to go out a little bit more. Okay, now I can sharpen this on some paper. You can also sharpen your pencils a little bit on there. And I have a tray that everything sheds down into when I do get some shedding. And here we go, I'm gonna do this one now. The key to doing these radiating is to do it in equal pies. I rotate my pen here, my pastel pencil. Everything I'm using today is soft pastel, and that's what's cool about it. I've had a lot of questions of people asking about using colored pencils instead of pastel pencils. And the thing is that a lot of the colored pencils have wax or oil bases. So the PanPastel and the pastel will resist the pencils. So if I was working in like a realism, high realistic stuff, I would only use colored pencils and stuff like that for finishing. Nothing I would put something over. A lot of people will use them for like whiskers and pet portraits and things like that. So I only use pastel pencils because they work really well together and I don't have any resistance because I don't want to battle that too. So I'm going to put that little, I like the little edges that I did. I'm going to do that to this one and then I'll wrap up here before we sign off today. So if there's any more questions, now is the time to ask. And then I will be here next week. I think next week, I have to see what my schedule is. I know I'm taking 1 week off this month for lives. Usually take one off a month. And I'm feeling like it might be next week that I'm taking off. So I have to go check. But if you're on my newsletter, you're going to get notified. Oops. I'm going to put my little black hole in there. I like that. Then I have the dots around this one, so I don't really feel like I have to. pushing that value back. I'm going to use this vermilion right here. This is the, it's actual vermilion. It's 305, and it's called vermilion red, and it's a Carbothello pencil. And then I'm going to catch up on chat here, but I'm kind of really in this moment with the painting, and I'm feeling it, so that's fun. And I'm following my inspiration because my inspiration is woken up. I'm inspired. All right. Put a couple more of these in. Got that. And then one right here. All right, I'm gonna check on chat here. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I have my, Karen, I have my family coming for Labor Day. So I kind of think I might be taking next week off for the lives. So I will check, and I will definitely update you guys in my newsletter. Let's see, I got a few people. Jonah says light pink and blue inspire him now. Oh, Wolf has already liked and subscribed. Thank you, Wolf. Farm Girl says, thank you, Dawn. I got some great comfort in our time together. Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm excited that your paper is on its way, and you've made a order with Mary Artist. Any of you guys, down below, if you want to save an additional 10%, they have some of the lowest prices if you're in the US. And you can use coupon code DAWNVS and get an additional 10% off. Anne says, I feel like I would turn this around and around and make some connections. Oh, do you mean like flipping it and stuff? Yeah, that's always fun. I love to do that. I'm just really having a good time with it. After I sit back and, you know, this moment, it's really good for me just to like take a break. And then tomorrow when I want to get warmed up, like say I'm not feeling anything, like lately I've been like, what do I want to create for myself this week? Because this is my off week for creating lessons. I don't need to create a lesson this week. And I haven't really felt anything. So I always will lean into abstract and just showing up just to play, because it will fuel me and give me ideas. Thanks for all the hearts. Jonas, it's really got a hold on me right now. Don't know what that means. Oh, colors of inspiration of dark navy and opera pink. That's what you're saying. Karen says next week. Oh, I've already read that. Great seeing everyone, says Samaj. Brilliant insight, delightful end result in the work. Thanks for inspiring us all for creating such a lovely community of creatives. Have a fabulous week. Thank you, Samaj. So glad you made it today. Is there a place to share our inspired by the live? Oh, great question. I have a Facebook group, and that's in my bio, and I'll also update the live stream that you can connect with my Facebook group. You might want to subscribe to my newsletter. I've put that in. You also get access to my free lesson library, and I have a brand new free lesson out, which is this is an intro to PanPastel. It's a full intro, so you get everything you need to get started in the medium. I give you a mini guide. I give you we're only working with 5 colors and a couple pencils, and it's a great way to get started. So if you go sign up for my newsletter, you're going to get a welcome newsletter, and then you're going to get a link in there. Check your junk mail if you haven't got my email, and you'll get a link in there, and then you can click that and join the free library. It's free, no credit card required, nothing like that. So I highly suggest you subscribe, and then you'll also get links to all my Facebook and all of that stuff too. Thank you, Wolf. I'm glad you love the vermilion. Jonas, do you start painting from light and work your way towards the darker color later, or in this case, there is a mistake in the beginning? No, I will usually work dark to light, but with abstract, I kind of am all over the place. Like I push and pull. I would say I'll start out working dark, go to light, and then I'm pushing and pulling a lot of the way. And that can make, that kind of is my base. But abstract, I'm kind of all over the place. JC says, I'm definitely going to go do some abstract and Zentangle and see how they work together. Yeah, a lot of my core patterning comes from like the Zentangle vibe. I love Zentangle. I have Pinterest boards with tons of Zentangle on them. So yeah, Zentangle can really be a great jumping off point to help with patterning and mark making. Thanks, Dawn. Fun hanging out as usual and hearing all your wisdom. Have a wonderful week. Thank you, Luis. It was wonderful that you came. Yes. And you gave the number, so yeah, thank you, Debbie. I'll put it in the link below too. That's so sweet of you. Susan says, thank you, Dawn. Wonderful inspiration, such lovely magic. Thank you. Awesome, Wolf. I'm glad that you're going to join the community. Anne says, I have time, but I waste. Hard to start, easier to watch someone else do art. I don't fail that way. Yep, it can be scary, but you're not failing by showing up. We just have to reframe it. So, maybe even rewatch the live and take some notes of some things that you can put, some sayings up on your wall of some of the things we talked about today, because that can really help you. And whenever I find something that is blocking me, I'll put a saying up that shifts the perspective, and I'll put that in my studio for a while. So I'm reading it constantly. That can be a real helper. Don't be scared to fail. Showing up is a success. Don't judge what's here. Celebrate that you're showing up. That's where we need to shift that perspective. And Luis is going to say the same. Hi, Paula. This has been fun. Love the mark making. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you guys all had a good time. And I will see you next time in my live. I'll probably be next week off. I will go check, and then I'll see. And I announce it in my newsletter, and then I also will put the thumbnail on and say when I'll be here. So you guys take care. Take care, MJ. So glad you were here. Thank you. And you guys, I hope this inspires you to show up and just kind of think of your creative space maybe in a different light. And I just really sending it all out to you all, and glad that we were able to connect today. So you guys take care, and I will see you soon. All right, bye-bye.